I would like to differentiate between anxiety and fear. You see, fear is this darkness that is deeply rooted inside your soul, whereas anxiety is more of an inner turmoil, this situation you may be in if you fear something. Let me give you an example. Let's, for example, talk about the fear of flights. Alright, if you are a person that is afraid of flying, then you have this deeply rooted fear within your heart of flying. And every time you even think about flying, you may have anxiety. Anxiety is all this sweating and sweaty palms and shaking and inner turmoil. This sort of situation is anxiety, which is usually accompanied with fear. Alright, so I do feel obligated to talk a little bit about anxiety, but this is not the issue of this course. This course is about something much, much deeper. This course is about fears. But this video is about anxiety. Alright, so how to deal with anxiety? If you encounter anxiety, so basically what you need to do is first and foremost, stop. Stop whatever you're doing and take control of the situation, because right now the fear is controlling you and you should control it. That's what we are all about controlling the fear. Alright, that's why you experience anxiety right now. Alright, so first and foremost, stop. Then begin focusing on your breath. Breathing is very, very important, and you should really take attention into the concept of breathing, maybe even reading more about it later. Alright, breathing is also very much associated with spirituality, but let's not talk about that too much right now. Just what you need to remember is that when you take the breath in, it should be lower time than the breath you take out. Alright, so if for example you breathe in for like 5 seconds, breathe out for 7 seconds. Alright, the numbers don't really matter. The whole point is that you breathe in quicker than you breathe out. Alright, so it may be alright, something like that. The point is to take the breath in quicker than the breath you take out. And it will relax you. It will make you calmer. Alright, that's the whole point. Another technique to deal with anxiety is basically to switch brains. You see, when you use the frontal cortex, the thinking brain, you won't have an anxiety. This is the thinking brain, this is the spiritual brain, this is the brain you want to use if you consider yourself to be a smart person or a human being. But we do have other parts of our brain that are more primal, they are more animalistic. And unfortunately, some people use these parts of the brain more than they should. And especially when we talk about anxiety and we talk about fear, this is the brain we are talking about. Alright, so you want to switch brains, you want to move back to your thinking brain, to your frontal cortex. And how do you do that? Simple. You begin to try doing something logical, doing something with numbers. This is the sort of thing that you need the frontal cortex to do. Alright, so the technique is quite simple. Just try to grade your anxiety. For example, right now I'm feeling very agitated and I have this anxiety because I'm thinking about going to the dentist. So you know what? I think right now I feel 6 in the scale between 0 to 10, where 10 is like the worst sort of anxiety situation and 0 is like the most relaxed state. Alright, somewhere along this scale is your current anxiety level. So just grade it. Wonder, is it 6, maybe it's 7, no, maybe 6.5. And when you begin to think that way, this is your frontal cortex thinking about numbers. Alright, so these are the techniques to deal with anxiety. And another nice tip is that you can use your imagination to deal with anxiety as well. What I suggest is that if, for example, you have a future event that you're worried about, for example, going to the dentist or whatever, or going on a plane, just imagine it, use your imagination, and when you begin to imagine the situation going on that plane, and you begin to feel this anxiety, because your brain doesn't care if you are right now, you are on a plane, on right now you are on your bed, imagining being on a plane, or maybe even dreaming. Maybe you are having a dream and you are sleeping and you are dreaming of a plane. Your brain doesn't care about the real circumstance. The only thing it cares about is his feeling of the situation, what he thinks the situation is. So you can only imagine being on an airplane, and then you begin to feel this anxiety when that happens. And again, you are in the safety of your own apartment. When that begins to happen, you begin to feel this anxiety just by imagining being on a plane. Then use the breathing technique, use the grading technique. And if you, for example, have this, I don't know, right now we are in a situation of 7 in the anxiety scale, then use the breathing technique. Again, breathe in quicker than you breathe out, and grade it again. You know what? Now I'm feeling more like 5 or 4. Again, breathe again and again. Now I'm 2 or 3. Then, by the time you continue the breathing, you may reach 1 or 2 or even 0 level of anxiety, and then you can continue with whatever you are doing. Alright, and this will help. Even if you just imagine going on a plane and you do this technique of breathing and grading and breathing and grading, it will help you by the time that you really go on a plane. Alright, so this was a technique to deal with anxiety. And remember, the anxiety is not fear. It's just something that you experience because you have fear of something much deeper.